It may look stupid, but it sure can intimidate people. Then she ordered, since Steward Liu has caught the stupid dog disease, let's send him back to the Crown Prince's mansion to recuperate. The foolish prince, meanwhile, stared at the silly magic staff, his eyes full of longing. A girl transmigrates into a 300-pound obese woman, and is forced by the emperor to marry an idiot. Her name is Shen Ningyue. She went to the mountains to collect herbs for her doctoral thesis. But she got lost and starved to death. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself wearing a red wedding dress. And her body was covered in rolls of fat. Confused, she looked outside and realized she was in the middle of a wedding procession. Fortunately, the groom ahead looked quite handsome. But the handsome facade didn't last more than 3 seconds. The groom's demeanor suddenly changed. The man in his 20s suddenly stuck his fingers in his mouth. He, pretty sister. So many pretty sisters. Shen Ningyue was shocked. Holy crap, he's actually an idiot. The groom suddenly remembered he had a bride and quickly turned around. He caught a glimpse of Shen Ningyue's head peeking out. He burst into tears. Help! It's a monster. This prince doesn't want to marry a fat pig. Enraged, Shen Ningyue jumped out of the bridal sedan. Well, your grandaunt doesn't want to marry an idiot either. The matchmaker and maid hurried to pull her back. But she was surprisingly strong and easily threw them off. Then she ran off in a random direction. Your grandaunt is done playing with you all. But as she was running, someone grabbed her shoulder. Your Highness, please return to the procession. Shen Ningyue grabbed his hand. Return my ass. She executed a perfect shoulder throw, flooring him. The foolish prince clapped happily. So fun. The fat meat hit someone. Catch the fat meat. Shen Ningyue cupped her hands. Gentlemen, farewell. From now on, we part ways. May we never meet again. But alas, she was grabbed by the ankles and face planted hard on the ground. Several guards immediately pounced on her. The wedding procession then arrived at the prince's mansion amidst their cries. The foolish prince wailed, I won't marry a fat corpse. While Shen Ningyue roared, I don't want to marry an idiot either. Unexpectedly, a voice spoke softly from the high seat. Are you dissatisfied with my imperial decree? You two are the jade maiden and golden pupil I've carefully selected. Such a talented couple, a match made in heaven. Why are you making such a fuss here? Shen Ningyue shuddered, and the ropes binding her crumbled. Me, well matched with an idiot? Then she pointed at the emperor and shouted angrily, You baldy, you want to lose your hair? Surprisingly, the emperor's hair instantly fell out. He touched his bald head in disbelief. My beautiful hair. The foolish prince pointed at the emperor's head and laughed. Haha, baldy. Baldy doesn't worry about rain. The emperor was furious. Guards, take this witch out and behead her. The foolish prince raised his hand in protest. No beheading. Fat meat makes people bald. Fat meat is fun. Shen Ningyue was in tears. What? I just got here and I'm already facing execution? At this moment, a young eunuch hurriedly stopped the enraged emperor, advising that such a witch would be perfect for the third prince. The emperor's expression changed instantly. He grinned, putting his arm around the young eunuch's shoulder. Well done, you. The young eunuch smirked. I wouldn't dare, Your Majesty. The emperor declared, since the emperor approves, we shall not pursue this matter. Proceed with the ceremony quickly. The foolish prince was shocked. What? We still have to get married? Then he was grabbed by the arms by servants and forced to bow with Shen Ningyue. Shen Ningyue realized they were bowing to the emperor. She cursed under her breath, Bow to you? May you get hit by a horse when you go out. After the couple bowed to each other, the emperor ordered them to be sent to the bridal chamber. When the foolish prince heard he had to enter the bridal chamber with Shen Ningyue, he immediately started wailing. Shen Ningyue's body burst into flames, and she started fighting the guards. The foolish prince also started punching the guards weakly. Bad people, I'll kill you. His whimpering contrasted sharply with Shen Ningyu's dragon-like roars. Finally, after sacrificing many guards, they managed to tie the two up. Seeing such a lively scene in the imperial family, the emperor said, "Now I can rest assured." As he walked out, he laughed, "Miss Shen and the prince are truly a perfect match." A perfect match indeed, haha. Several guards exerted their strength together and threw the couple into the room. Shen Ningyue crashed onto the floor with a boom, creating a crater. She sprang up like a carp, shattering the ropes binding her. Annoyed, she wondered who she had offended. Others who transmigrated became stunning beauties with golden fingers, but she became an ugly fatty who could destroy heaven and earth. The foolish prince asked Shen Ningyue to untie him too, but she ignored him, determined to find a way to escape. She cracked open the door and saw no one outside. She immediately walked out. The foolish prince kept shouting, "Fat meat! Don't go! Untie this prince first." Shiningua made a face at him. "Untie yourself, little idiot. Bye-bye, we'll never meet again." But before she could finish, a sharp blade nearly poked her face. At this moment, the emperor had just walked out of the princess mansion gate. A swift horse suddenly knocked the emperor flying. He soared to the sky with a whoosh. Young eunuch chased after him, yelling, "Your Majesty, wait for me." Shining Yua, with a blade pointed at her, burst into laughter. "Spare me, good sir." The guards clad in armor and wielding weapons surrounded her. "Princess, please return." Should. Ninua raised her hands. "Brother, can we negotiate?" But she was mercilessly locked back inside. Furious, she clenched her fists, making cracking sounds. "Just you wait." By now, the foolish prince had untied himself. With a mocking face, he said, "Oh, you're back? Aren't you going to seek your happy little life?" Shininess snorted coldly. "I'm back to sleep." She started undressing. The foolish prince's ears turned red with embarrassment. "You shameless woman, how dare you undress to seduce this prince?" Shining Yute gave him a disdainful look. "You're thinking too much." With a loud thud, she lay down on the bed. The foolish prince looked at her unhappily. "This is my bed. Get off." He used all his strength to pull Shining Yua, but she didn't budge an inch. Shining Yua lifted him up with just 2 fingers. "It's mine now," the foolish prince angrily said. "Get up quickly. This prince won't sleep with you." Shining Yua tossed him out with one hand. "Go sleep on the floor, I don't want to sleep with you either." The foolish prince hugged a pillow and whimpered, "I'm letting you off easy. Fat meat is bullying me." He started singing pitifully, "Little cabbage yellow in the field, in the cold night." The foolish prince curled up on the floor, freezing shouldn't. Ningua glanced at the shivering foolish prince on the floor. She got up and gently covered the foolish prince with the quilt. She then covered herself with her wedding dress she had just taken off, thinking they were both pitiful creatures, so she wouldn't bully him anymore. The supposedly sleeping foolish prince opened his eyes. His long phoenix eyes were clear and sharp, showing no sign of foolishness on the bed. Shining Yule was still lamenting that when others transmigrated, they either had a silver spoon or a golden finger, but she got a body full of fat. As she fell in a deep sleep, someone woke her up. She opened her eyes. Groggily, she found herself standing on clouds. Startled, she thought, "With my current weight, I won't fall through, right?" Suddenly, an ethereal voice rang out. "This is the 9th layer of auspicious clouds, the place where the golden phoenix descends." In the distance, an angelic silhouette backlit by the sun flew towards her. Shining Yua's eyes widened. "Mom, I see an angel." But what she saw was an old man riding a giant rooster, flying towards her with a proud look on his face. Shining Yule was disappointed. "Some golden phoenix you are. Have you no shame?" The old man was furious. "How dare you? I went to great lengths to find this mortal body for you. Instead of thanking me, you speak such nonsense." Veins popped on Shining's forehead. "So you're the one who gave me this body full of fat and threw in an idiot husband as a bonus? Unaware of the danger?" The old man waved his hand dismissively. "No need to thank me. No need. It's all part of my job." Shouldn't Ning Yute grab the old man's hand? She swung him around in an instant. "Then I'll thank your uncle's aunt with this as big as clay pots." She pummeled the old man's face. "Your great-grandmother spent 5 years on a bachelor's, 3 years on a master's and 2 years on a doctorate. I was finally about to finish, and you just tossed me here. How can you face all the money my father spent on my education?" The giant rooster backed away in fear. "What a terrifying woman," the old man cried out in pain. "My leg's going to break. Don't repay kindness with enmity." Didn't you starve yourself to death? I saved you shouldn't. Ning Yut quickly stopped. She remembered getting lost in the forest in her previous life and starving to death. The old man, his face now black and blue, continued. So I put your soul in this. 5. I mean, this young lady with so much in stock, you surely won't starve to death again, patted the fat on Shun Ning's belly. Shun Ningit raised her fist to strike again. The old man hurriedly offered compensation. 3 superpowers. First, curse. You can inflict a non-lethal curse on someone with 100% success, like making them bald or fall into a sewer while walking. For example, that unlucky emperor's live hair lost demonstration. Second, truth or dare. You can randomly trigger either truth-telling or a random dare on someone. They won't resist for 5 minutes. Third, healing. You can cure one of these ailments with 100% success, choking on water, biting your tongue while eating, or hitting your head on a doorframe. Shining Yule went berserk. What the hell, use are these superpowers? Unexpectedly, the giant rooster attacked her from behind. It kicked her off the cloud. Shining Us screamed, if I ever see you two again, I'll pluck you bald with my own hands. Shining Yule woke up screaming on the bed. The foolish prince was startled awake to Shundi Yute touched her head. That scared me to death. I thought I was a goner again. With a loud crack because she got up too quickly, the solid wood bed collapsed under her weight. She fell to the floor with a thud. The foolish prince shouted, oh no. The fat meat broke the bed. Shiningwa, annoyed, told him to shut up, but the foolish prince noticed her hand was cut by a wood splinter. We started shouting again. Help! The fat meat is dying, someone come save her. Shining Yute irritably told him to be quiet, but the foolish prince took her chubby hand. No, you're bleeding, they say you die if you bleed. Shouldn't Nyua looked up at the idiot before her, thinking he might be stupid, but he was quite handsome. Just then, the guards heard the shouting and hurriedly pushed open the door. They saw the collapsed bed and the two standing close together, holding hands regards. Faces instantly turned red. The prince and princess played too intensely. Who knew the prince was so capable? Shining, mortified, chased them all out. The foolish prince rubbed his beaten head. He made empty threats. You wicked woman, how dare you treat me like this? I'll make you pay. The world finally quieted down. Shining Yute went for a walk in the garden. Suddenly, she heard people gossiping about her. I'm telling you that fat woman even broke the bed. It's a miracle she didn't crush that idiot to death. Shining Yute was furious. She wanted to see who dared to wag their tongues. 2 old maids were behind a rockery. I say that fatty must be some kind of monster. Come on, what monster would be that fat? A spider demon, maybe. They burst into laughter. The fatty and the idiot made quite a pair. Shining Yule was so angry she could spit blood. Her body burst into flames like the great demon. King, you two think you're the only ones who can talk in this mansion. If you can talk, say more. What's wrong with being an idiot? One was about to apologize, but the other stopped her. If you raise an eyebrow at Shining Yue, your highness, how can you call our prince an idiot? That's treason. Shining Yue's face darkened. Are you trying to pin this on me? Would you like to try vomiting once? The two backed away in fear. Your highness, I just remembered I need to feed my child. I'll take my leave now. Shining Yue grabbed her back. Don't you want to share who's backing you? Who gave you the courage to be so arrogant? The 2 old maids swore they were absolutely loyal to the prince. Shining Us smiled. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. Just as the two sighed in relief, thinking they escaped, Shouldn't Ningit patted their shoulders. After all, those disloyal to the prince in this mansion will catch the balding virus. Something's happened. So suddenly the two wailed, touching their shiny bald heads. Oh, mother, I don't want to be bald. Shunting Yue thought to herself. Based on my years of reading comics, the foolish princess mansion must be full of spies planted by villains. I hope those superpowers the bald old man mentioned in my dream last night are real, otherwise I'll definitely braise his chicken. The old man in the sky sneezed violently. Who's talking bad about me behind my back? Shiningwa secretly glanced at the foolish prince who was playing happily. She sighed, though we're a couple by convenience considering you cried when I cut my hand. I'll look after you from now on. Daddy's got your back. Just then, miserable wails erupted from the mansion. Help! What's happening? Am I going to die? Guards immediately came to protect foolish prince, but they couldn't stop in time and knocked the foolish prince flying for people rushed out. Blue, 11, 12, 13 and 14 came to protect agenda. You have picked up the knocked over foolish prince. You've knocked the prince flying. What protection is this? Who are you people? Since you've asked so sincerely, we'll graciously tell you Blue 11, Blue 13, 14. We're the guards responsible for looking after the prince. Shining Yuez looked disdainfully at these unreliable guards. She told them to gather everyone in the front courtyard to see what was going on. Soon everyone was assembled. Shining Yuez, pulling the foolish prince along, wanted to see who was making all the fuss. But the scene before her left her dumbfounded in the crowd in the front courtyard. There were shiny bald heads everywhere. Shining's mouth twitched. This is because I said those disloyal to the prince would turn bald. There's sure a lot of undercover agents in this mansion. The old maid from earlier rushed toward Shining Yute crying. Princess, please have mercy, don't let this servant go bald. Shining Wei, overwhelmed by the visual shock, couldn't control her strength and sent the old maid flying. The noisy crowd below fell silent instantly. Shining Yute cleared her throat. Ahem, you old hag. Since you've caught the balding virus, don't come near the prince. Then, in a voice like an old demon, she shouted, do you want to infect the prince? The crowd below was shocked. What? It's contagious. Shining Ua made up a story. The balding virus is a terminal illness that causes rapid hair loss. It's highly contagious. Look at the emperor, he got infected and went bald in public too. The people below wail, covering their bald heads. Terminal illness? Does that mean we'll die? Mom, I don't want to die. 13 hug 14 crying. No, 13 doesn't want to go bald. If 13 goes bald, no one will like 13 anymore. 14 comforted him, it's okay. No one likes you even with hair. Shouldn't you have pointed at the crowd of bald heads below? Have you all been in contact with the emperor or people around him? Those who are bald, please go to the accounting office to collect your money and leave. It's not that I'm driving you away. I'm protecting the prince's hairline. At these words, though still with hair, immediately drove out the bald ones. Should Ningguang heave a sigh of relief? Finally got rid of them all. I didn't expect there to be so many undercover agents. 13. Looking at Shun Ningguang's majestic figure, his eyes shining, the princess has only been here for a day and already knew about the undercover agents in the mansion. So smart, decisive, and strategic. Shouldn't you have thought to herself, now that I have superpowers to be more ceremonious and intimidating, shouldn't I equip myself with a more badass weapon? 1.3s. No, that's not good ball. All a magic energy, that's not quite right either. I'll choose this one then. After a series of clanging and banging, Channinggua revealed a smug smile. Let your mother take a look at this little cutie. But looking at it, something seemed a bit off. Unsatisfied, she struggled for another 2 hours, resulting in a pile of misshape and creations. She finally chose the first one. Ugly is fine, as long as it's powerful. Then, with an evil grin, she prepared to find an unfortunate soul to test it on. In the garden, the foolish prince was happily chasing butterflies. An old man with ill intentions called out to him. Oh my, our prince has lost weight these past 2 days. Is that fat princess bullying you? The foolish prince teared up adorably. Stuart Liu, that chunk of fat won't let this prince sleep on the bed. Stuart Liu whispered, I know a secret method to become stronger with a prince, like to try. As he spoke, he led him away. The foolish prince followed naively. Shouldn't you, happen to see this person deceiving the fool? Look at that despicable face, he's definitely up to no good. She decided to use him to test her new magic staff's power. Stuart Liu led the foolish prince to the dog kennel. The foolish prince looked at the dumb-looking yellow and black dogs angrily. He asked Stuart Liu why they were there. If you don't tell me, I'm leaving. Stuart Liu grabbed the foolish prince's hand, pointing at the dog poop on the ground. He said, Your Highness, this is the secret method. The foolish prince was shocked. What is this? It stinks, I don't want it. Stuart Liu deceived him. It's effective because it stinks, the smellier, the stronger. After a series of lies, he almost convinced the foolish prince. Just as he was about to pick up the dog poop, 11 Sam 11, and Shin Ningguang quickly called out to stop the foolish prince. Shun Ning erred, who the hell is bullying my family's idiot? She charged forward at a speed of 3.33 meters. Persian, those who bully my idiot go to hell. With a move called Crow Flies the Plane, Stuart Liu's face smashed into the poop with a splat. The foolish prince backed away in fear. 11, who was running over, immediately stopped. Shining Yute pulled the foolish prince's ear. You believe anyone who tricks you grow a brain, will you? Then she pointed at 11. How are you watching over the prince? Can't even keep an eye on a 3-year-old, shitting you, Hands on her hips gave them a good scolding. The two knelt on the ground, whimpering. Stuart Liu, lying on the ground, suddenly woke up and let out a smelly roar. Who dares to hit me? Shining Yute turned back coldly. What? This princess not only dares to hit you but doesn't even need to pick a date for it. Steward Lu, completely unaware of the danger, dared to threaten. I, the steward, was kindly sent by the crown prince to look after the prince. How dare a fat woman like you bully him? You, a fat concubine born, dare to lay hands on the crown prince's people? Shining Yu's face turned as black as a walk bottom. Did he just call me fat? And twice at that? Steward Lu continued, muttering, to beat a dog, one must consider its master. Aren't you afraid? Before he could finish, the magic staff was shoved into his mouth. Shining Yu smiled. Oh, so you're a dog? Come on, bark a couple of times for us to hear. 11 and the prince tilted their heads, looking at the staff. What's that stick thing? Steward Lu tried to curse loudly, but what came out was a series of woof, woof sounds. Shundanua looked at the silly-looking magic staff in her hand with satisfaction. It may look stupid, but it sure can intimidate people. Then she ordered, since Steward Lu has caught the stupid dog disease, let's send him back to the crown prince's mansion to recuperate. The foolish prince, meanwhile, stared at the silly magic staff, his eyes full of longing. The girl transmigrates into a 300-pound obese woman, but this body wasn't originally this fat. It was quite delicate. Before that day, Shiningwet was pinching the fat around her waist, lamenting, this body fat is killing me. I'm about to die from exhaustion. The Shin family is the country's prime minister. How could they let their daughter get this fat? As she spoke, she began to check her own pulse. Results shocked her. She had actually been poisoned. Suddenly, a bald old man with pigtails appeared out of thin air. Have you missed me? Shining Ua immediately threw a punch at him. You dare to show up again? I'll pluck you bald to avenge my grievances. But her fist passed right through the old man's body. The old man gloated. Don't waste your energy. This is the 1,000-mile projection technique. You can't hit me. Shining Yu scoffed. It's just a hologram, big deal. Then she leaned against the wall and asked why he came. The old man chuckled. I saw you discovered you were poisoned, so I came to tell you who did it. He pulled Shining Yu's into a mental space. Your engagement to the to third Prince Uchi Lin was originally your elder sister's. It turned out that not long ago, the emperor had decreed to marry the prime minister's daughter to the third prince. Her elder sister didn't want to marry an idiot, and Prime Minister Shun wanted his daughter to marry into the palace to become the future empress. Her elder sister and her father both set their sights on Shining Ua. They simultaneously revealed cunning smiles. On the day of the wedding, Shining Yute was doing embroidery. Prime Minister Shun brought a bowl of poison, deceiving her that it was chicken soup. Shining Yute drank it without hesitation. Right after she finished drinking, her elder sister took out a big stick and knocked her unconscious. Then she had the maids put the bridal clothes on. Shining Yute Prime Minister Shun urged, hurry and change. They say it takes effect in the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. Don't let her die here. Her elder sister exclaimed. Father, Prime Minister Shin kept his hands on the third prince's wedding day. The bride dies suddenly in the bridal sedan. This is the emperor's wish. I've always been loyal and put the emperor first. Her elder sister snickered. Father's plan is brilliant. Seeing this, Shundanua was furious. These shameless dogs. Just then the bald old man slapped, shining you back to reality. Someone's coming your way. I'm leaving. Shining you held her face, swimpering, you old coo, lucky, my new bed is sturdy. The foolish prince gently pushed open the door, muttering, fat meat, that chicken head staff looks powerful. Let this prince borrow it to play. He immediately spotted the silly staff while Shining Yua seemed to be asleep. He whispered, fat meat, fatty fat. Are you asleep? Shiningwa pretended to sleep, curious to see what the little fool was up to. Seeing her asleep, the foolish prince happily reached for the silly staff, but just as his hand was halfway there, Shining Yute grabbed it. Little fool, who told you to sneak into a woman's room and get handsy? The foolish prince felt wrong. I didn't get handsy with you, I just wanted to borrow your toy. As he spoke, he tried to snatch it. The battle between the fool and the fatty was about to begin. The foolish contestant made the first move, attacking with his invincible tiny fists. But the fatty contestant countered swiftly, sending him flying with a move called Greasy Root. If fatty contestant successfully beat him, claiming victory, Shining Yute cracked her knuckles. Do you want to try vomiting too? This is a precious image of early humans conquering durian. They boiled water in a large vat, then put the durian in. Afterward, they could throw away the whole vat. He did this because Shundanua had disciplined him. She even threatened to make him bald if he didn't behave. The foolish prince imagined himself bald. He ran away, crying daintily. 11 was in awe of Shun Ningua, vowing to follow her from now on. Shun Ningua waved her hand, telling him to find a secluded spot and bring a bathtub. Since her superpower couldn't remove the poison, she had to use the old method of medicinal baths and acupuncture. Meanwhile, the foolish prince was in the garden complaining stinky, fat meat bullied this prince. 13 gracefully appeared before the foolish prince. Your Highness, what's troubling you? Why not ask the beloved and charming Blue? 13? The foolish prince cried to him. Fat meat bullied this prince. This prince wants to bully her back. 13 immediately giggled. I just saw the princess take 11 to the tower behind the garden. That fence-sitter 11 has been completely bought by the princess. He's guarding the door for her now. 13 has a good plan. He took out a large package. This is durian from the South Seas, sent by the emperor. Let's boil it by the back window. It'll surely smoke the princess out. We'll avenge your highness. The foolish prince's eyes lit up. That sounds impressive. The two sneaked past 11th line of sight. They set up a large vat behind the tower, snickering as they threw the durian in. But while hurting the enemy, they hurt themselves more. The durian, heated by the hot water, immediately released a foul stench. The two of them vomited on the spot. Shun Ningua, who was preparing her medicinal bath, also smelled the stench. This morning, someone was playing with poop, now someone's boiling poop. New people in this mansion all have such heavy tastes. Downstairs, the foolish prince saw that Shuningua had no reaction. He thought the windows must be closed too tightly for the smell to enter, so he asked 13 to lift him to the second floor. 13 was startled. This humble servant is frail and weak, I can't lift, your highness. But the foolish prince didn't waste words. He directly pulled 13 over. The foolish prince stepped on 13's shoulders, climbing up to the second floor window. Shining Yu, who was bathing, was startled by the noise. She saw a finger poking through the paper window. This little rascal has learned to peep at women bathing outside the window. The foolish prince smiled with satisfaction. Ha, fat meat. That's for bullying me. I'll suffocate you. But before he could finish gloating, the silly staff was pressed against his head. Shining Ul looked at him with a sinister face. People who peep at others bathing will turn into pigheads. As soon as she finished speaking, the foolish prince fell down. 13 was seen running away, crying. 13 doesn't want to become a pighead. The foolish prince was left hanging lonely on the windowsill, crying for 13 not to leave him behind in the royal bathhouse. The emperor, completely naked, walked out of the water, made him immediately brought him clothes. He touched his bald head, cursing Shining Ua. Just then, a young eunuch brought 2 master hairdressers. These are the 2 most famous hairdressers in the capital. They can surely create the most satisfying hairstyle for your majesty. The emperor looked dazed at the 2, who kept making exaggerated gestures. The young eunuch approached the emperor and whispered, tomorrow is the Empress Dowager's birthday banquet that foolish prince will have to bring his family to attend. Your majesty, see if this is suitable. They exchanged glances again. The emperor chuckled, my third brother just got married. As his elder brother, I naturally should prepare a grand gift to welcome his princess. Next, please enjoy the emperor's new hairstyle. Calculate the area of the emperor's psychological shadow and the fate of the 2 Tony masters. To regain his dignity, the foolish prince actually stewed durian in an iron pot. Not only did he make himself vomit, but he was also disciplined by Shening Yuez in the morning, the wails of the foolish prince and XXending Yuez. She went out to see servants and maids crowding around. 11 ran over to report. Princess, look at this, it's too tragic. It makes listeners sad and viewers cry. Shouldn't you have pushed through the crowd, wondering if the little fool was playing with poop again? When she got closer, she saw the foolish prince and 13 had turned into pigheads, hugging each other and crying. Should? Ninua laughed to tears, seeing their appearance. My superpower worked again. The foolish prince wiped his snot on Shun Ningua's clothes. Bad guy, don't laugh, it's all your fault. This prince still has to attend the Empress Dowager's birthday banquet. Now the whole world will laugh at me. Shining Yute poked his head. Have you learned your lesson? Will you dare to do it again? The foolish prince repeatedly said, I won't dare. Shining Yute appointed her silly staff. The foolish prince turned back into a handsome man. Shining Yute looked disgustedly at his snot-covered body and prepared to take him to wash up. 13 was still crying behind them. Princess, I haven't changed. Back yet at the birthday banquet. The combination of the fatty and the fool immediately became the center of attention. Shining Yue's head was adorned with golden ornaments emitting a dazzling golden light. The foolish prince was staring blankly at the various hairstyles, muttering, there are pretty hairs over there. Shining Yue covered her head, lamenting, I'm the 3rd princess consort yet. I don't even have a maid to do my hair. I had to wear extra accessories to look presentable. Others whispered about the pair as that Fatty showing off her wealth with all those gold hairpins. Fatty and a fool. They're truly a perfect match. Meanwhile, the foolish prince was still looking around, admiring the beautiful ladies Xingyu had angrily pinched the foolish prince's hand. Behave yourself. Do you want to turn into a pig head again? The foolish prince was startled at the mention of becoming a pig head. He immediately became serious. I'm Soda. The two walked to the Empress Dowager. They bowed to the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager quickly beckoned the foolish prince to her side, asking how his new wife was treating him. The foolish prince ran to the Empress Dowager like a little swallow. Fat Meat is very fierce with her around, no one dares to bully this prince. The Emperor's Dowager looked at Shining Yuan. Who would dare bully my carefree prince? Princess, tell me who is so bold. The Emperor stared intently at Shining Yuan. You should know how to answer, right? Shouldn't Ningyu have chuckled? This subject doesn't know who would deliberately send people to bully the prince. I only know that since I've married into the carefree prince's household, anyone who dares to bully the